Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our full America's Got Talent reaction to what I think is probably at least the liveliest episode of the show so far this season.
There was so much happening in this episode. It was really exciting.
It really was, and not to steal a name from another show on a network, but this was really close to being a Gong show from start to finish. We had hijinks, we had Simon sending the poor kid singer away to try to learn a Shawn Mendes song on the fly. We have a dude swallowing multiple swords and making Howie pull one out of his mouth. Then we had a comedian just completely lose whatever she was doing midway through.
And we had one of the best dance crews ever with the Waffle crew. And we already spoke about them a little bit earlier. They got the golden buzzer tonight from Simon. We'll link that for you below.
Yeah, and also, not to spoil our own video here moving forward, but there was an act in this episode that I thought was really going to be a strong contender for, and not to speak about myself in third person, but the act Matt likes who probably no one else is going to, and then I realized that Jess likes them too, and I feel better now.
I love them, yes.
Alright, we'll get to that. Before we get into anything, though, if you guys like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates.
Okay, so we're going to start this video with Brett Loudermilk, because if you've been on this channel for a while and you've seen our videos, you know already that I love the danger acts. They are my favorite acts of this show. I love them. The more dangerous they get, the more I love them. I've seen a ton of sword swallowing acts over the years. I mean, I was even in New York years back during Fleet Week with all my friends. We were having dinner with the woman who was the sword swallower of that show. And I just love this particular act. So at first I was like, okay, here's a sword swallower. You have a lot to live up to because I love them and I've seen a lot. The thing that he did that was so different, it wasn't about even how many he was swallowing, because I've seen more than that.
Yeah.
And it was how he was able to improvise, the way that he was able to improvise with everything that was going on, go with the flow, bring up Sophia, bring up everybody, do more swords, the back and forth with the judges. That was the act. It wasn't just the sword swallowing. It was how fast he is on his feet to improvise with everything that was going on. That was immensely entertaining, and I loved it.
That is by far the best part of this act, and it's not to say that the sword swallowing was bad, but, you know, we've seen acts, people swallowing a ton of swords, way more than Brett did. I've seen more dangerous kinds of swords being swallowed, but in the end, I think one of the problems with this sort of act sometimes is the people who do it are either a little bit scary or stoic or quiet. They don't have a personality and they don't have a sense of humor, but in a way, Sophia doing so terribly at the first part of this, it really did add a lot of humor to it, because like she was really going like full over the top Modern Family Sophia in this moment. It made it so fun. And when Brett calls up Howie, I just felt so bad for Howie in that moment, because it's just like, this guy doesn't like germs. He's already got enough to worry about in his life. Why are you making him do this?
The thing that Brett did so well with this that I've also never seen before is this is such a weird act and a danger act, and people are like, no, and you don't want to look, and all. It's an act that makes people really uncomfortable. He made it feel very comfortable. Like, we're all laughing with him. We're all joking with him. This is something I've never seen with this act.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what he does next, because I think it's probably be crazy, but also fun,
I can't wait.
Interesting. And this is where we are with America's Got Talent. We've been watching this show for a decade and a half, and I feel like at this point, I want to see things that I've never seen before, and this leads me directly, and you already can guess where I'm going here. Olox! I
love them!
I love them so much, and at first, I saw the outfits, and I was like, okay, they look really cool. They look like they could be, you know, characters in Skyrim or something like that. I was all in on this. I was like, okay, I hope this isn't a joke. I hope this isn't bad. We see a lot of people in costumes, and then they were talking about it being like a cultural part of where they're from in Siberia. And then I was really hoping, okay, let's not have AGT put somebody on who's just going to be making fun of someone's culture.
Absolutely.
Then they started singing, and I thought that the throat singing and that stuff early on was kind of cool, and I was happy that nobody was judging them or was booing them because I was worried about it. And then we get to the zombie rendition of it, and I was just like, man, this is cool. And then like the dude, like, I don't even know if it was a dude, but the person in the beard starts playing that drum and I was just like, man, I'm so in on this. This is so cool.
Listen, I love the Cranberries. So right away when she mentioned the Cranberries, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what they're going to do, because the only people that I've ever heard that can sing the Cranberries right are the Cranberries. I've heard a million people try to sing Zombie or any of their other songs, and it never sounds good because, her voice is just so beautiful and perfect and different. Nobody can sing these songs. This woman can sing these songs. I was completely shocked by this. Her voice is also just unique and beautiful and different. And maybe that's why it works so well with this. And the way that they did it, and they were able to kind of obviously change up the arrangement a lot, but still we know that this is what she is singing. I loved everything about this act, and I don't know if there is going to be anybody else except
Beyond
us
us.
that are really going to be out there rooting for these two, but I am so all in on them. I loved everything about them.
Come to Olox Island with us. Enjoy, because here's the thing.
They're fantastic.
People, I think, if they make the live shows, they're probably going to be that act that people either really, really love or really, really don't like. Because this sort of thing, it's so far outside the norm on AGT. A lot of people gravitate to things they're comfortable with.
Yeah, which is why we see a lot of singers going through and winning and stuff like that over the years. And this is so different that I am worried, because they're so far out of the box, that people are not going to be into them as much as we are.
You know what you call people who don't necessarily like embrace the horizon and just follow the same path mindlessly? You call them a zombie. That's the point of, that's not the point of the song, but I really did enjoy this. And the thing is, just to talk briefly about the Spyros Bros, is that I'm not going to say that Diablo routines are my favorite sort of act. It's impressive what they do, but it doesn't catch my eye. But what they did was technically so cool. But it was really the post-performance freak out that actually made me so much more on board with them as an act, because I was just, there was a part of me, not saying that I would ever want to go on AGT, but I was like, if I was on AGT, I would be that guy.
Yeah, their performance, I really liked it. It's cool. I have seen acts like this before, but when they were sending it back and forth over the judge's head, I was like, man, I can't even. That is some stuff that I can't imagine how much practice and how many hours went in to be able to do something like that. It looks technically very difficult. When they were spinning around together with the strings out, I was just like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Are they actually gonna get all tangled up in this? And it was flawless. But yes, seeing the breakdown afterwards, I was just like, that's so genuine. They're so wholesome. I like them so much.
How terrible would it have been, though, if that happened and then they said no, and then they didn't go on? I would feel so bad.
I think there was no way with the talent level that they have that they were not going through. There's just no way. Yeah, the stuff they were doing was crazy.
Yeah, it was a cool act. One of the best Diablo routines I've seen. And just the enthusiasm is infectious. And it continues the tradition of the Night of Weird, where nothing can really happen as it normally does. We have the golden buzzer early. Even, Ashley Marina, the kid singer, we always have a kid singer. Very rarely do we have a kid singer who is forced to sing 3 different songs over the course of a single night.
Yeah, I can't remember this happening. I mean, granted, I haven't seen every single season, but I can't remember something like this happening. I've seen him be like, what's your backup song? We've even seen that this season, but all right, let's have your first song. Let's have your second song. Go and come up with something else and come back. Okay, all right. Clearly he saw something in there, and she does have a very nice voice. She came back and sang an original, which personally for me, I love hearing originals and people that are bold enough to be able to go and do something original. She's singing about her dad. I mean, a little girl singing about her dad. I can't with how emotional that is. It was really beautiful. The only thing that I worry about for her is there are not only a lot of kid performers this season, there's other kid singers that are better. I'm going to say that. I mean, if you're going to, at this point right now, put Ashley up against Roberta, Roberta wins. And that's not to say, though, that Ashley can't get to that point. One of the things I really like about this show is seeing the growth and seeing the different performances and seeing them get better and better and better and better. And Ashley feels like one of these people.
If I was to give Ashley some advice, and I think Simon, for Simon being a music mogul, I think go and pick a song recorded by a dude is really weird advice, because it's just sort of like, okay, let's limit her to what I would have instead said, okay, we've heard a couple of slower songs from you now in the first two. And this is not to take away from her original song, which was very sweet and very wholesome, and I think she sang it really well, but did. I want to see her have a little bit of fun on stage. I think she said she was like 12 years old. I want to see her do something that's energetic and lively. She did 3 slow songs, and I still feel like I haven't heard what I think would be the perfect song for her entertainment-wise. Emotion-wise, I get it with her original song being so sweet, and she's going to get a lot of fans for that.
She should.
Yeah, and that's going to be a great ticket for her potentially making it to the live shows. But I want to hear her sing something that's a little bit more fun at that point.
Yeah, because she comes across that she has like a really nice energy about her. So to see her sing something that's a little more energetic, that, we've seen now what she can do emotionally, and that she can grab inside and hug our hearts. We've seen that now, and she can do it, and we know she can do it really well. So the next thing I'd like to see her working the stage and working sort of us, lifting up our spirits and getting something else out of us.
Yeah, you want to feel a lot of different things when you watch an act on America's Got Talent. I mean, just in this episode alone, we are laughing because Sophia's freaking out. We are wowed by various things. Our minds are blown watching Olox perform. And
I love that.
I know, and even at the start of this episode, I feel bad for Noah Epps in a way, because he was really, really good. And
he was so good.
But because he was the first act of the night, we gravitate towards Waffle Crew, we gravitate towards Olox, we gravitate towards all these other people, but that style of dance is really, really hard. It's like that animated style, because you have to have all your movements synchronized to the beat. You've got to have a cool story. He did all of that, and I feel like he can do, if he gets kind of out of the puppet motif and does something totally different, he could come back as like a cool dancing robot or something and just completely sort of flip things up.
The storytelling from a lot of the kid acts this season has been like top of the point.
Yeah.
We've seen, we saw a contortionist last week, Emerald, who was doing, her contortionist, but she's doing it to tell us a story with the desk and all the pictures and everything. Noah did such a great job telling this story, and he did it. What I like about it was that there was a really sort of creepy feel to it. Like, he's going to give me the nightmares tonight, and I'm kind of thankful for it because he's so good. And it does feel like a type of dance that he is going to be able to continue to tell me stories, and they don't all have to be sort of that really cool, creepy feel, but I mean, like, I like that stuff, so what can I say?
It was a cool audition because he incorporated animated stuff, contortion, a lot of different elements.
Yep, lots of contortionists this season.
I know. And
holy smokes.
It really seemed like he enjoyed doing it, and that energy always translates really, really well. The only other act that I think is worth sort of bringing up right now about this episode, beyond who we've talked about already, is Christine Hurley, mostly because I have a hot take here about her.
Okay.
I don't think we've seen the last of Christine. I feel
Where's your tinfoil hat?
Oh, sorry. Here's the thing. we have wild cards on this show sometimes. I would be willing to, well, I don't bet, but I would be willing to hypothetically bet something that Howie Mandel brings her back as a wild card down the road, because it was a colossal misstep on her part near the end of her act, but I think she was funny. I think she's relatable probably to a lot of viewers who are out there. You don't tend to see, older female comics on this show all that often. And I think the uniqueness of her, if she gets brought back, I think she would actually do reasonably well. So I don't think we've seen the end of her. It was not a great audition, but there was promise, at least in that first half.
Yeah, her storytelling, building up that story about her kids and what they're all asking for breakfast. She's an excellent storyteller, so it does help her with being a good comic. And yeah, she dropped that punchline like I have never seen before, where it was, I didn't know what was going on. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows who this person is. And that was a really big misstep. However, I think that it is possible that we could see her again through something like that. It's possible. The humor for me wasn't very relatable. I don't have any kids, so I don't get it the way that like Heidi was like, oh man, that happens at my house every day. That doesn't happen at my house. We just have the same thing every day, except for today we had waffles, ironically. But it was humor that I didn't get as much, but that doesn't matter because humor is so subjective anyways. It really is. If somebody's telling you a story that you can laugh with because you're like, oh man, I know when that happens to me. Yeah. The stuff that she's talking about is so widespread with every mom and dad out there that she's just going to reach a really big audience with this humor. I really hope we see her again.
I still have the tinfoil hat on, by the way, so I'm just going to say this was shown for a reason. They don't know what accent they say no to on America's Got Talent. This was shown for a reason, and it's not just let's all feel bad about her just completely tanking near the end of this.
No, for sure, because they could have shown a little bit less of it, and they didn't. They showed the whole thing, her whole build-up, the huge storytelling, and it wasn't just to embarrass her.
No, there's something here, more here beyond the that happened. There's gonna be
oh man, I felt so bad for her. I really I could feel it through the screen. Yeah. You could just see it on her face. I felt so bad.
I am not more uncomfortable than I am watching Comics Bomb. Like that, I am more uncomfortable watching Comics Bomb than I am watching pretty much anything else on this show. But that concludes the weirdest edition of America's Got Talent this season. And by the way, it's probably going to get weirder from here.
Weirder than Olox?
Maybe, because I feel like we're kind of at the point where they're starting to run out of auditions with an audience. And I know eventually they do some without. And then I guess they're doing auditions from home. And we have no idea what any of this is going to look like. So buckle up. We're in for an interesting road moving forward. But for now, who did you like the most on America's Got Talent tonight? Is it Olox? Is it Brett Loudermilk? Are you down for the dance stylings of Noah Epps? Waffle? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking out that link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.